Our stories are not real and made for entertainment purpose only. Subscribe to my channel for more stories. Now let's begin this one. I thought my landlord was a fair man, renting me a cozy Austin apartment until he tried to evict me for fabricated damages at a tenant hearing, and I played a video that exposed his scam, saved my home, and turned the tables on his greed. At 31, I'd carved out a life in Austin, Texas, a city pulsing with music, tacos, and dreams, where my one-bedroom apartment on South Congress Avenue was my sanctuary. As a freelance illustrator, I thrived in the space's soft light, my desk a riot of sketchpads and watercolors, my walls adorned with prints of local landmarks. The apartment, with its hardwood floors and quirky green tiles, was more than a rental. It was my haven, a place to rebuild after a string of unstable leases in my 20s. My older sister, Zoe, a nurse with a fierce heart, lived nearby with her 6-year-old son, Leo, their weekend visits filling my home with laughter and crayons. My best friend, Marcus, a barista at a local coffee shop, often dropped by with lattes, his humor a balm for long workdays. My cat, Juniper, a sleek tabby, curled up on my couch, her purring a constant comfort. I'd signed the lease 2 years ago, drawn by the building's charm and its landlord, Mr. Greg Fulton, a 50-something man with a warm handshake and promises of family-like care. He owned a dozen properties in Austin, his office a cluttered space of leases and smiles. When a pipe burst last summer, he fixed it promptly, earning my trust. My rent, $1,500 a month, was steep but fair for the area, and I paid on time, priding myself on being a model tenant. Zoe, ever cautious, warned me to read the fine print, but I brushed it off, charmed by Fulton's assurances. Leo, during a sleepover, drew a picture of our building, labeling it Aunt Anna's Castle, his innocence cementing my love for the place. Marcus, sipping coffee on my balcony, teased, "You're living the Austin dream, girl." I believed it, never suspecting Fulton's kindness was a mask for a scheme that would threaten my home. Trouble surfaced when I noticed Fulton's visits growing frequent, his inspections lingering, his questions about my income oddly pointed. He raised the rent by $200, citing market rates, and I complied, dipping into savings. Then, a month ago, an eviction notice arrived, claiming I'd caused $10,000 in damages, scratched floors, cracked sinks, ruined walls. My heart sank. My apartment was pristine, my care meticulous. Zoe, reading the notice, fumed. "This is a setup, Anna." Marcus agreed, his barista gossip hinting at Fulton's reputation for shady evictions. I trusted Fulton's fairness, blind to his greed, but my home, Leo's castle, was at stake, and I had to fight. The eviction hearing was held in a sterile city office, a cramped room of folding chairs and flickering lights, where tenants and landlords faced off before a hearing officer. I arrived with Zoe, Juniper's absence a quiet ache, my nerves jangling in a blazer Marcus had pressed. The room held a dozen spectators, neighbors, other tenants, a local reporter named Ms. Lila Chen, her notepad ready. Fulton sat across from me, his suit crisp, his smile practiced, holding photos of damages, gouged floors, shattered tiles, a sink cracked like a spider web. "Ms. Carter's reckless," he said, his voice dripping with false regret. "She's caused $10,000 in harm, forcing eviction to protect my property." He slid the photos to Mr. James Hayes, the hearing officer, a stern man with a clipboard. The accusation was a gut punch. My breath catching. Reckless, I'd polished those floors, cleaned every corner, my illustrators I obsessive about order. The crowd murmured, a neighbor I'd shared cookies with now frowning, Miss Chen's pen pausing. "Mr. Fulton, that's not true," I stammered, my voice thin against his confidence. Zoe gripped my arm, her whisper fierce. "He's lying, Anna. Fight back." But without proof, my denial felt hollow. Hayes examined the photos, his nod favoring Fulton, the weight of eviction looming. Humiliated, I left, Zoe's hand steadying me, the office hum fading. At home, Juniper nuzzled my hand, her warmth a small lifeline, but fear gripped me. Could I lose my home? Was Leo's castle just a dream? Zoe was resolute, her nurse's pragmatism kicking in. "He's scamming you, Anna." "We'll prove it." Marcus arrived, his coffee thermos in hand, his anger matching hers. "Fulton's done this before, heard it at the shop. Their support was my spark, a fire to save my haven." I wasn't just fighting for an apartment, I was fighting for my art, Zoe's trust, Leo's joy, and the life I'd built. Sleep was impossible, Fulton's smug smile haunting the dark. Zoe stayed over, brewing coffee, her voice a steady vow. We're not losing your home. Marcus set up camp on my couch, his barista network buzzing with leads. I opened my laptop, heart pounding, determined to clear my name. My first break came from a security camera I'd installed after a neighborhood break-in scare, its footage capturing my apartment's interior. Reviewing it, I froze. There was Fulton's handyman, Pete Vargas, a wiry man with a toolbox, scratching the floors with a crowbar, cracking the sink with a hammer, Fulton directing him. Make it look bad for Anna. The video, time-stamped weeks ago, was a bombshell, their voices clear as day. Zoe suggested we dig deeper. I scoured my lease records, finding a pattern. Fulton had raised rents on 3 tenants, evicting 2 for damages last year. Marcus, via his coffee shop connections, found a tenant forum online, where users like @Renter77 accuse Fulton of fake evictions to flip apartments for higher rents. One post named Pete as his fixer, paid to stage destruction. I reached out to @Renter77, learning it was Ms. Carla Ruiz, a former tenant who'd lost her deposit to Fulton's claims. He's a crook, Carla said, her voice bitter, offering a written statement. My heart raced. This wasn't just about me. Fulton was preying on Austin's renters. I contacted a lawyer, Ms. Elena Lopez, a tenant advocate Zoe's hospital colleague recommended. Lopez reviewed the video and Carla's statement, her eyes narrowing. This is fraud and property damage, she said. You can sue, but a public reveal will hit harder. Marcus proposed the next tenant hearing, where Fulton would face other cases, his allies present. Play the video there, he said, sketching a plan like a storyboard. Juniper batted at my notes, her playfulness a reminder of what I fought for. Doubt lingered. Exposing Fulton could spark retaliation, but Zoe's fierce hug, and Leo's drawing on my fridge, steeled my resolve. This was for my home, for Carla, for every tenant he'd wronged. For 8 weeks, we worked like detectives, my apartment a war room of laptops, takeout boxes, and Leo's crayons. I built a presentation, weaving the security video with lease records, Carla's statement, and forum posts. Zoe recorded a video from another ex-tenant, Mr. Jamal Carter, who'd been evicted for damages that mirrored mine, his anger palpable. Marcus, digging through public records, found a lien against Fulton's properties, hinting at financial strain. His evictions a desperate cash grab. We uncovered a bank transfer $5,000 from Fulton to Pete, labeled maintenance, a bribe for sabotage. A neighbor, Mrs. Rosa Nguyen, reached out, shaken by the hearing. She'd seen Pete tampering with her own apartment's pipes. Fulton's voice in the hall. She's next. Rosa's affidavit was a turning point, her courage inspiring. Another tenant, Ms. Priya Patel, shared a story of Fulton forging her lease to justify a rent hike, her written statement adding weight. Ms. Lopez connected us with a property inspector, Mr. David Kim, who analyzed the damages, confirming they were deliberate, his report a legal sledgehammer. A local activist, Ms. Tara Wells, contacted me via the forum, offering to rally tenants at the hearing, her energy electric. Ms. Chen, the reporter, agreed to attend, sensing a story that could shake Austin's rental market. Zoe, sensing my stress, baked Leo's favorite cookies, their aroma soothing. You're saving our castle, she said, Leo nodding, his latest drawing a knight labeled Aunt Anna, my armor. Marcus organized a tenant meeting at his coffee shop, a dozen renters sharing Fulton's tricks. Their support a shield. Mrs. Nguyen helped me secure a slot at the hearing, her advocacy fierce. Fulton's email, vacate by next week, Ms. Carter, or face court, was my fuel. Juniper curled in my lap, her purring my courage. The evidence was overwhelming. But my heart wrestled. Fulton's early kindness had felt real, his betrayal a wound. Exposing him meant facing that pain, but my home was worth it. The tenant hearing was a crucible, the city office packed with 50 spectators, tenants, activists, Ms. Chen's camera crew. The air thick with tension. Fulton arrived, his suit pressed, his confidence unshaken, flanked by Pete, their smirks a silent taunt. I sat with Zoe, Marcus, and Mrs. Nguyen, Leo's night drawing in my bag, Juniper's absence a quiet motivator. Hayes opened, his voice clipped. Miss Carter, addressed the eviction for damages. Fulton stood, waving his photos, his tone dripping with pity. Miss Carter's negligence cost $10,000, forcing eviction to protect my investment. I rose, my heart a drumbeat, and connected my laptop to the projector. "I'm no vandal," I declared, my voice steady despite trembling hands. "Mr. Fulton is the criminal here." The screen flared with the security video Pete's crowbar scarring the floor. Fulton's voice. "Make it look bad for Anna." The crowd gasped as I showed lease records. Carla's and Jamal's statements, Rose's affidavit, Priya's story, Kim's inspection, the $5,000 transfer, forum posts, and Tara's petition signed by 200 tenants. "Fulton's running a scam," I said, meeting his eyes, "and I'm not his only victim." The room erupted. Fulton's face straining, his stammered defense, it's edited. Drowned by shouts, Hayes slammed his gavel, his voice thunder. "Mr. Fulton, explain this," Fulton faltered, Pete shrinking beside him, their lies exposed. The crowd turned, tenants who'd trusted Fulton now glaring, Ms. Chen's camera rolling. Hayes deliberated, his verdict swift. The eviction was dismissed, Fulton fined $50,000 for fraud, his license suspended, a full investigation ordered. "Ms. Carter, your lease is protected," he added, his nod a victory. Zoe's proud hug, Marcus's grin, and Mrs. Nguyen's tears were my triumph. I left, head high, my home Leo's castle safe. Fulton's downfall shook Austin's rental market like an earthquake, its tremors rippling through every corner of our tight-knit community. His scam, once a whispered fear, erupted into a public scandal, fueling heated discussions in coffee shops, social media threads, and tense tenant meetings. Regulators, armed with our meticulously gathered evidence, expanded their probe, uncovering a staggering $300,000 in fraudulent charges, hidden fees, inflated rents, and fabricated repairs that had preyed on countless renters. Felony charges followed, each count dismantling Fulton's empire. His properties were seized, his name blacklisted, and rumors placed him in Houston, scrambling for smaller cons. I didn't gloat. His ruin wasn't my aim. My heart was set on my home, its sunlit rooms where my watercolors danced, its balcony where Leo spun tales of knights and dragons under the vast Texas sky. With Fulton's grip broken, I renewed my lease at the original rate, a victory that felt like reclaiming a piece of my spirit. Rosa and Priya, my neighbors turned comrades, joined me to form a tenant union, a fierce coalition that grew to represent 100 renters across Austin. We held late-night meetings in cramped living rooms, drafting bylaws and lobbying for rent caps, our voices blending into a chorus of defiance. Our efforts secured protections that shielded others from the greed we'd endured, each signature on our petition a brick in a new foundation. My illustrations, once a quiet refuge, blossomed into a beacon of hope. A local gallery showcased my Austin series, vibrant paintings of the city's soul, from Lady Bird Lake's shimmer to South Congress's eclectic pulse. On opening night, Zoe's proud tears and Leo's shout of "You're epic," and Anna lit my heart brighter than the gallery lights. The show sold out, each piece a testament to the strength I'd rediscovered, earning me the title Austin's Artist of Defiance in the local press. Marcus's coffee shop, the daily grind, became our sanctuary, its warm tables and sunlit corners hosting our strategy sessions. His expertly crafted lattes fueled our debates, while Juniper, my tabby, napped in a sunbeam, her purring a soft counterpoint to our fervor. Marcus, with his quiet wisdom, became our rock, slipping me an extra espresso with a wink, for the fight. Anna, Carla and Jamal, tenants from a nearby building, joined our union, their stories of Fulton's overcharges mirroring mine. Carla's grit, balancing two jobs while raising her son, and Jamal's legal savvy fortified our cause. Tara's protests, fiery and precise, drew crowds to City Hall, her voice a megaphone for reform. Ms. Chen's expose, landlord scam unraveled, went viral, sparking a citywide call for tenant rights and earning her a journalism award, with our story as its heartbeat. Neighbors I'd barely known became allies, sharing meals and dreams, their faces now etched in my memory as family. Yet, Fulton's betrayal lingered, a scar on my trust. His early kindness fixing leaks, offering warm smiles had felt so genuine, his greed a bitter shock that left me questioning my judgment. Zoe, ever wise, saw my pain and planned a picnic at Zilker Park, where Leo's laughter as he chased butterflies began to mend my heart. "You're our hero," he said, his crayon drawing of me as a knight slaying a dragon labeled Fulton now framed in my studio. Marcus gifted me a leather-bound sketchbook, its blank pages a promise of new beginnings. I wept, not from sorrow, but from the love of my family blood and chosen who held me steady. A year later, Fulton's letter arrived via his lawyer, a hollow apology blaming debt. I kept it, not for forgiveness, but as a lesson. Home is earned through courage, built on truth. My apartment, my art, my community, they were my castle, unyielding and true, a fortress no deceit could breach.